Hey guys!
Hey guys!
It's time for another Walking Dead review. This time we're reviewing the Walking Dead comic number 147 titled Out in the Open. If you haven't read the comic yet and you want to avoid any spoilers, you're going to want to skip this video and come back later because everything we say from this point forward is going to be a spoiler. Okay, so this comic picks up right where 146 left off with basically the conclusion of Eugene's conversation with Rick about using Lydia as leverage against Alpha.
Yeah, and it makes sense for him to suggest that, and he even said, well, we don't actually have to do it. And then when Rick says, well, what if she calls her bluff? And he's like, well, then we won't bluff. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, Eugene.
Like Eugene went through a metamorphosis in the span of two pages.
That's not Eugene.
Yeah.
But, Rosita and their unborn child was killed. So I can see that making him that person.
Like he went from being, hey, we can bluff to, well, then we won't bluff in a matter of a few panels. So just Eugene is in this, well, of course he's in a personal crisis. He just lost Rosita and the baby. So, I mean, of course he's, in this mode of we have to get back at them.
I think during the whole thing, he intended to not be bluffing. I think to convince Rick, he was like, well, then, we'll just bluff. And then when Rick called him on it, then he was like, well, then we won't bluff. Yeah. I think he knew that Rick wasn't going to go for that.
Trying to manipulate some,
And then, he leaves and apparently stirs up a whole bunch of shit outside in the community because Michonne comes in to get the girl to take her, to get rid of, to take her away because she's like, Rick, you're not out there. You don't hear what they're saying. They're coming for her tomorrow. Yeah.
So Eugene, he wasted no time whatsoever.
0 time.
And the scene with Michonne and Rick was actually really interesting because first of all, she comes in and Rick thinks she's coming to take Lydia out.
Yeah, he thinks she's going to come and kill him. Kill her. Wow, too many pronouns.
So Rick has Michonne at gunpoint, and she's like, look, it's all cool. I'm going to take her away because you don't know how bad people are out there right now. It's going to get out of hand. It's going to get ugly is what she says.
Yeah.
And they have this moment in the kitchen. And what Rick says to her is actually really interesting. He talks to her about his life prior to the fall as a police officer and things he couldn't share with Lori and how that created a distance between them. And I'm like, wow, I never really considered that. Yeah. And that contributed a great deal to Lori's affair with Shane. And I thought that was really interesting conversation between Rick and Michonne because she created this distance for herself, first of all, when she let her ex-husband take the kids. And so as penalty for herself, she wouldn't let herself be happy with Ezekiel. And so now that Ezekiel's dead and she's kind of paid that penance for letting her ex-husband take the kids, she can now find happiness. And it's this very roundabout way, and I'm like, that's really screwed up, but it's actually totally true.
He also was saying, talking to her about how he is now the happiest he has ever been with Andrea, and it only took losing his daughter and his wife for him to get to that point, and that even though he would trade his happiness to have them back, he's not going to punish himself for being happy even though this has happened. And that kind of also relates to Michonne, to where, she's wanting to punish herself for Ezekiel, and he's telling her, you've lost Ezekiel, but that doesn't mean you can't be happy.
Now, the scary thing for me is this conversation and this revelation for Michonne, because she emotionally breaks down and she cries on Rick's shoulder, and I think that might be the first time we've ever seen Michonne emotionally crushed like this. And I think this revelation for her is pointing toward her death in the coming issue.
I hope not, because I love Michonne.
I love Michonne too, but it just seems like her character coming full circle, it's going to come to some kind of climax. And hopefully it's a positive climax rather than a negative one.
Oh, I hope so. I'd be crushed if her character was killed off. But it makes sense. It does make sense. I see what he's saying. Like, her character has come full circle, and it would totally make sense to have, for her character to die, but I really, really hope not. I want to see her happy. I mean, they had this whole conversation about how she can be happy now. I want her to get that. I want her to be happy.
I'm not, preaching a pro Michonne death opinion at all.
No, we don't want her to die.
She is in my top 3 favorite characters in both the comic and the show. I never want to see her go. I'm just saying, as far as the narrative goes, it would make sense. Kind of a redemption story. And, but crossing my fingers and my toes and everything that it doesn't happen.
Yes. So, let's move on to Andrea, Carl, and Lydia. So, they are taking Lydia away, and, they get part of the way, and Lydia's like, why are you guys taking me away? You told me these people were safe and that you guys take people in and that you care for each other and that's what you do. So why am I in danger being there? And she just doesn't understand. Yeah. And I mean, for me personally, read very fake. I think she is totally playing them. I still think she is playing them, and I think that this is all part of the ruse and that, something's going to happen, whatever the game plan is with her and Alpha. But, like, this scene especially, I was like, wow, that just seems like, it just seems very dramatized. Like, it doesn't seem like the her that we've known in the last couple of issues. So I totally think it's an act.
And given her personal history, there's no way she doesn't understand the concept and can't wrap her mind around.
That's what she lived in. Yeah, she lived in worse.
Just the idea of retaliation, the idea that is foreign to her and that she might be in danger of the Alexandrians retaliating against her as part of a way to get to Alpha. The fact that she can't understand, I don't buy it either.
Yeah, no. And she has to know what Alpha did. And just common sense. We aren't in the zombie apocalypse, but if this was like something that happened to me, like say, this never happened, but say my mom goes and kills a whole bunch of people and then I go and live with that group of people, I'm going to be afraid that those people are going to take it out on me. Mm-hmm. Like, that just is common sense. So this was just very fake.
And the fact she can't wrap her head around guilt by association.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, I don't buy it, especially not this character.
She didn't do anything, but her mother did. So if they kill her, they hurt her mother.
She's way too savvy to not understand this. I don't buy it. I think it's a ploy.
Yep.
And the issue ends with she's got Carl and Andrea at gunpoint. Well, really, Andrea.
Yeah.
She's got Andrea at gunpoint. And, I think it's a ploy.
Yeah.
I think she's stalling for time or something.
Yeah, she's either stalling for time or she's trying to cement her relationship in there, or she's going to run and lead them off into a trap. I'm really not sure, but it's definitely some sort of game plan that her and Alpha have cooked up.
There's definitely something fishy about Lydia. Hopefully it doesn't result in any casualties of people we care about.
Yes. Cross our fingers.
All right, I think that's pretty much everything from the comic. Is that everything?
I think so.
If we missed anything, if there's something that happened in the comic that we didn't talk about that you think we should have, let us know in the comments and we can discuss it down there. Also, if you enjoyed this video, and we certainly hope you did, be sure to click that like button and subscribe for more reviews.
And thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
And we got engaged today.